We love revocable living trust, and for a very good reason. Revocable living trusts are what a lot of our clients choose to do to make things as easy as possible on the back end for their kids and their family. If my grandmother had a revocable living trust instead of a will-based plan when she passed away, my dad would have literally avoided 4 years of very contentious probate process. However, in order for a revocable living trust to work, it has to be funded. This is a little bit of a scary word, and I think there's a lot of misconception around what this actually means. By funding the trust, what we really mean is that there are some assets that need to be titled into the name of the trust while you're still alive, and then there's some other assets that we may leave beneficiary designated either to individuals or to the trust. There's a lot of strategy here as to what gets titled in and what stays out. And in order to do this properly, you really do need to be working with an attorney. If I had to give you the absolute number one reason why DIY living trusts don't ever work, it's because they were not funded properly. We won't get into the fact that the documents are not good. We'll just talk about the funding. They were not funded properly, and therefore they're not going to work. Your real estate, your deed, absolutely the most crucial, needs to be titled in the name of the trust with you as trustee of your living trust in order for that to work. Biggest thing, at my firm, we do that right off the bat. All of my clients leave their signing meeting knowing that within the next 24 hours, their property will be in the name of their living trust and they're good to go. If you have property in multiple states, it's going to depend on the state as to whether the deed gets put into the name of the trust, or if it's a state like Florida, we do a ladybird deed and have the remainder as the living trust. It just depends on which state you live in and what type of deeds you have. We don't have ladybird deeds in Georgia, but we have them down in Florida. And a lot of our clients obviously have property in Florida, so we see that a lot. LLCs, if you have businesses, S Corps, LLCs, anything like that actually holds value, that has a bank account that someone would need to get access to, we need to assign that business to the living trust. This is how we fund the businesses into the trust. Even if you own a 33% share of that business, we're going to fund your percentage of that share of that business into your trust. So that's really important. Now, this isn't something we do on the Georgia Secretary of State website. This is a legal document that's in your binder, and then most likely we might want to update your operating agreement as well. Or if you don't have one, create an operating agreement. You need an operating agreement, people. Now, what about bank accounts? Ideally, bank accounts get retitled into the name of the trust, but it depends on what bank you bank with. All banks are not going to treat this the same. More local banks, probably more willing to do this. At my firm, we have great partnerships with a lot of our local banks that we can work with. And when they see, I just saw one of our bankers the other day, and she jokingly told me that one of my clients walked in and she saw that green folder come out and she goes, we're good. We know exactly what to do. And they make it really easy. Now, if you're banking with the Chases, the online banks of the world, or even the big banks, Truist, Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, it's really going to be very dependent upon who you talk to. Not every employee is going to know anything about a living trust, so you got to find the employees that do in order to make it easier. Some of those accounts, they're probably going to be beneficiary designated instead of in the name of the trust. Ideally, we put it in the name of the trust for incapacity purposes, but after you pass away, they both work well. So again, it's all strategy. Brokerage accounts, ideally in the name of the trust so that someone can take care of you during incapacity. Retirement accounts, not going to be in the name of the trust. They may be beneficiary designated or they may not. Depends on what your family looks like and what your goals look like. These are the things that DIY planning is never going to help you figure out or help you do. So at my firm, we actually have trust funding coordinators, and their job is to help guide you through this process, follow up with you, and make sure that you did your homework so that at the end of the day, if you paid us for a revocable living trust, that revocable living trust is actually going to work.